This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
July the 14th be with you on a Tuesday morning. Welcome on into a numbers game. I am Dustin Sweetelson, filling in for Gil Alexander all week long alongside my bearded brother. He is Kelly Bidlin. We got you covered for the next 3 hours on VSiN, the sports betting network. A lot to get to. It's a big day in sports. We have essentially the Super Bowl before the Super Bowl, but it's in the other football, not our football, the world football game, Spain and France. Essentially Rams and Seahawks from the NFL season. That goes down in just a few hours. We will be all over it in a myriad of ways on the program. LeBron James watch continues. I know our listeners love when you bring up LeBron James here in any downtime, but there's not a lot of news happening. Feels like at some point he's going to make a choice. Will it be today? That is the question we were asking. I'm going to pepper Kelly Bidlin with British Open stuff.
You standing by this week? It happens this week?
No, I'm just going to keep building it up and pretending like I think it is.
Great.
And then when I'm wrong, I will move the goalposts.
Gotcha.
And say, well, you know what? LeBron's now toying with us.
Did he say that yesterday, Danny, or am I making that up? Did you say it was going to happen this week?
I asked.
You asked if it was going to happen?
See,
okay.
This is the great cop-out of being the person who leads the conversation.
It is.
I get to say, look, I'm just asking the question. I'm not insinuating it's going to happen.
That's right.
I'm throwing it out there because someone has to ask these questions. Who wins the All-Star game tonight? That is the question we're going to ask throughout the show. And I was looking at some of the numbers. A lot of people think the game's going to go one way. I think it may go the other. And if we're going to go MVP, I'll tell you my strategy. It's a little weird, but we're going deep down the board, and that's the only way I can do it as far as tonight's All-Star Game festivities are concerned. But let's begin, my friend, with the Home Run Derby, where we came into this with a new format. It was supposed to be a bit more condensed. We got fewer homers. I don't know if it was a shorter broadcast. I don't know if it felt like a shorter broadcast to people. But Jordan Walker is your winner. He had 6 home runs in a row to win it, had 8 with 1 swing left. He had 4 consecutive with 1 swing left, right, to win this thing. He was 7-1 pre-contest. He was 6-1 heading into the final after Schwarber hit 11 in the finals. And my dude just won $1 million when his salary on the season is only $800,000.
Good night for Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker betters, man. It was, you and I were talking, looked effortless for him out there. It was incredible, put on quite a performance. And if you were like me and you had a Kyle Schwarber ticket, well, that kind of sucked. I don't know if it's is it in a bad beat territory? I don't know.
I don't think it's in a bad beat.
Because it was just an impressive. I got caught. I'm not going to say it was a bad beat.
Look, again, I said this yesterday on the show. Had I done well on the Home Run Derby, I would be victory lapping right now. I'd be super obnoxious, but it's a wonder I could even sit in this chair right now with the beating I took last night in the Home Run Derby. So because of that, I would say if this was more of a sharp handicap type situation, when you had Schwarber and you got into the finals and it was one-on-one and he had that massive lead, you just would have came back the other way with Walker at that point.
No, I wouldn't have.
No,
you wouldn't have.
Because you're not putting as big of a bet on this where it's going to pay that big of a difference.
Also, like, what do you have Kyle Schwarber just smacked 11 in the final.
True.
You're sitting there with the lead in the clubhouse thinking there's a slim chance you're getting
this is the difference between a pessimist and an optimist. That's what we have here, is whenever something good is going in my life, you know what I start thinking? When's it coming back the other way?
Yeah.
Every time I go on a 10-2 run on the VSiN Picks page, I go, when's that 2-10 coming to even things out in the end? I think that is the difference between you and I. It's like, you're going, I'm in a power position. I go, I'm not supposed to be in a power position. This is certainly going to end at some point. Schwarber, by the way, you mentioned, he surged but finished second. He made $500K. I was a bit concerned because I texted you and Danny during it after Murakami, who was my only outright, went out with a whimper. I went and put some money on Schwarber at plus 290. I was like, you know what? Well, I sat here all day yesterday hyping up Schwarber. He's built for the event.
Yep.
Slow pitch softball. Knows the nooks and crannies of the stadium. Felt like the guy who was rightfully the favorite. Why don't I just bet the rightful favorite? Now, at the same point in time, I also came on here and said, it's 7 great contestants plus Wilson Contreras. Oh boy, did Wilson Contreras make me look stupid because he had the longest home run. I mean, he had a long home run in his first for a while. Caminero ultimately cashes there at 491. We go over 484.5 for the longest home run in the event. But you had Wilson Contreras with 13 in the opening round?
Yeah.
I did not anticipate that. And the finals, by the way, the matchup between Walker and Schwarber, that would have paid out 13-1 if you did that ahead of time.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. We'll talk to Mark Borchard here in about an hour and a half. I know he had 2 plays last night, and it was Schwarber and Jordan Walker. So that was an easy final for him.
That is a pretty fun situation to find yourself in. Also, coming up here in about 10 minutes, former Mets manager Terry Collins will be on the program. Part of the reason I wanted to book Terry Collins today was a couple things. I want his thoughts on the second half of the season, specifically 2 teams out of the NL East. Braves not doing great before the All-Star break, and the Philadelphia Phillies. So I'm not even going to tease this. I think I'm all in on the Phillies. I think the Phillies are the play on the board. I think when I look at them, NL, World Series, and a couple of future spots, Philadelphia screams to me, this is your team that could potentially take down the Dodgers. I'll explain later on in the program. But going back to the home run derby here as we recap what went down last night, Walker with the win. And Kelly and I did a little draft, an impromptu draft during the show yesterday where we went snake style to take them, and we put 50 on the line. Here is $50. You want to count that, my friend? Because that is your $50 right there.
All 5s. That's weird. That's $50, and I owe you a bottle of liquor, so don't worry.
Look at that. It's like
Crown Royal. Thanks again. This is for you, buddy. Yes, our friends over at Crown Royal.
What's it, the apple?
Yeah, you get the apple. You get the green apple.
Is it too early for a shot?
I don't think so. I think you're good, man. I think you just take a swig right now. That should be great. A little live taste test. Wow, you actually did it. I didn't really think you was going.
It's very apple-y.
You've never had that before?
It's very
Yeah, it's very
That's
apple-y.
delicious.
Yeah, man. That's good.
This might be date.
There you go.
It's 7:06 in the morning. And I just had a little liquor on the air. Oh, baby, let's go. We're going to get loose today. Here's how the results of that draft went, by the way. If you want to see someone, when sometimes I prefer as a better, if I'm going to be wrong, let me just be so wrong there isn't even a prayer. I was wrong in all of my bets that I put on the home run derby. And then the way I handled this derby draft with you, I mean, could you have had better options on your team? You literally had the 3 highest outputs on your team. You went number 1. You took Schwarber.
Yep.
I had the benefit of going back-to-back picks with Murakami, 9 home runs. That did not work out well, although you texted me because you joined me on him.
Dude, that was hilarious.
His first swing was so just a flick of the wrist,
smooth,
effortless. You're like, oh, baby, he is primed for this thing.
Everybody's settled in. We're going to be here for a while. Then all of 5 swings later, you're like, never mind. No, Murakami's he's toast.
And then I felt a little bit better about my situation. Junior Caminero showed up and was just stroking line drives like it was just casual. I was like, oh, he's not even going to have to try and he's going to win this event. He finished with 17. Jack Caglione had 8. Ben Rice, who I'd never seen Ben Rice without a hat on until yesterday. Ben Rice looks like your friend when he was 13 years old that was the first one to go through puberty, where his head hasn't grown into his body yet and still has a childlike face. I couldn't believe how young Ben Rice looked. That didn't work out well. Jordan Walker fell into your lap. I then went Bryce Harper, and then you took Wilson Contreras, who had 21. Total home runs for Kelly's team, 90. Total home runs for Dustin's team, 41. Congratulations, my friend.
Thanks, man. That was, we're not going to sit here and brag about that. That was, I couldn't even remember who had Jordan Walker. I knew I had Contreras, and I knew I had Schwarber. When I was watching at the end, I'm like, does me or Dustin have Walker?
I mean, but essentially winding up with Contreras, who was the last pick, and him having that sort of performance, it set you up. There was no way you were losing after that.
Right.
Although I would say this, it wasn't a lock Schwarber made it to the finals.
No, it was not.
If Bryce Harper would have passed him, Schwarber wasn't going to be there. Then this whole thing would have opened up. I thought overall the format was improved. I'll say this. I think the clock being gone was correct. We now get to see how efficient these guys can be hitting home runs. To me, because before it was a test of how good is your pitcher. Now it's actually a test of how good of a hitter are you, and you can pick your pitches. You can find your spots. You can take pitches all day long until you find the situation you're looking for. I thought last night the way that they tweaked things was the correct way. I'm sure we'll get bored with it at some point, but I actually enjoyed the home run derby last night.
Well, I totally agree. I think they actually got everything right except for one thing. The magenta ball at the end, right?
Yeah, that's weird.
I mean, I guess I'd like to hear the players' comments on that, but man, everybody was until Jordan Walker at the end, right? Everybody was struggling on that last pitch.
Also, Jordan Walker looks like he's 35 years old. Someone's got to explain this one to me.
Yeah, the little, like, the tail of the tape thing for the final was really...
He's 24. I swear to God, he looked like a grown man.
He does. And it was hilarious. Him and Schwarber standing next to each other. You're like, which one of these guys is leading the majors in homers again?
Well, that's the thing that's fascinating about baseball is that, like, you don't have to be big to be great.
Right.
You don't have to be an elite athlete. That's like growing up. My dad used to yell at all my friends who'd be like, I'm going to play basketball. He's like, you're 5'9". You are going nowhere. Go play shortstop, and you can take it as far as you want. I love Jordan Walker. He's a great story this year, by the way. If you just talk about how quick we are to give up on young players who don't immediately meet expectations. Ton of hype with him a few seasons ago. Really hadn't found his form. And then this year's put it together at 24 years old. It just goes to show you, though, that we are such like a... Whoever you are right away, that's who I think you're going to be forever.
Yep.
Young players get better. And I think as handicapping, you have to remember that in all sports. In the NBA, when you're looking ahead to next season, there's going to be a young team like Charlotte a year ago that's going to get better. Just because they did something a year ago doesn't mean they don't learn and improve as the game starts to slow down for them as we get into our football previews. The same situation goes. I think Jordan Walker's a really cool story, fascinating story to watch here as we have the All-Star game tonight where total in the matchups 8. The AL is plus $1.10. Christopher Sanchez faces Dylan Cease. A lot of big pitchers not a part of this thing. We will break it all down throughout the program. Plus, Spain and France, it goes down tonight. Whew. A trip to the World Cup final is on the line between the two best teams, the two top teams on the betting board when this thing began. France currently to qualify in advance, minus $1.50. Spain, plus 120. You have elite offense, goal scoring with France. You have a slow it down defensive type of battle with Spain. We will touch on it with Alex Crook, bottom of this hour. Drew Dinsick will be with us in about 45 minutes, breaking down the World Cup, plus Paul Carr in our final hour. But when we return, former big league manager Terry Collins. What's the approach for a manager in the All-Star game? He's done it. He explains it next.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Tuesday on Follow the Money, Brody Miller and John Hasselbauer join the show to preview the Open Championship, breaking down the top contenders, betting favorites, and the best value on the board. Galen Cuff stops by to talk World Cup as the tournament reaches the semifinal stage, and we'll have plenty of action from around the sports calendar, including the NBA Summer League, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, and the WNBA with the latest betting angles and best bets. Join us Tuesday, 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern, only on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back on a numbers game. Dustin Sweetelson in for Gil Alexander all week long. He is Kelly Bidlin, always hanging out here at the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas. Appreciate you being with us today. Sirius XM Channel 158, YouTube TV, the VSiN Watch app, and radio affiliates across the United States of God Bless America. Home run derbies in the books. Jordan Walker was your winner last night. Now we have the All-Star game tonight. And this is something, a tradition for me as a baseball fan. I always looked forward to this. Before interleague play, I actually liked it better, obviously, because it was the only time I could see these guys like on the field together facing each other. You didn't get the AL versus the NL. And tonight, Dylan Cease takes the bump for the American League. He's a plus 110 dog. Christopher Sanchez is on the mound for the National League, minus 135. Total in this matchup is 8. To help us understand the challenges that go behind managing the All-Star game, we're going to welcome in Terry Collins, former big league manager, most notably with my New York Mets from 2011 to 2017, took the Mets all the way to the World Series on a magical run that I got to be in the building for several times during the postseason. And with that, Terry managed the National League the following year in the All-Star game. So that's where I want to start, Terry. We appreciate you doing this today. How difficult is it for Dave Roberts and for John Schneider here to manage all of these people, these egos, these situations, as they play in a game that does not count tonight, but everyone's going to be watching?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's for the fans, and it's something, but it's very, very difficult because, when I did it, when I managed in 2016 the All-Star game, the game meant something. The winner of that game got home field advantage in the World Series, so it was important. But so you spend, it beat me down for 2 weeks. You're calling all the managers because the fans were going to elect the starting lineup, but you're trying to get the right players, guys who deserve to be there. Not just some of your players but guys from other teams that have had great first halves of the season and deserve to be all-stars. And you're going to, no question, unintentionally snub some guys. Just isn't going to be room for certain guys. So that was tough. And then when you get there, you all of a sudden find out guys, they're honored to be there, but they really don't want to play because they want some time off. They're tired. And so you ran into that. You had to be very, very careful of your pitching. I always wanted to make sure we had plenty of pitching. And back then, because the game meant something, you had to have extra innings of pitching. And that's one of the reasons why I took Bartolo Colon, because I knew he could give me 9 innings if I needed 9 innings out of the bullpen. So, so it was, but it is hard because you don't want to make anybody upset, and you want to make sure the players have a great time. So, you got to juggle it, and you got to make sure, again, certain guys deserve to get in that game, and you try to find the spots for everybody, and you don't want anybody to leave feeling bad. And ultimately, that's going to happen because there's no way you can get all that pitching in.
Yeah, Terry, with the game changing over the years, I mean, how much of a balancing act is it with trying to get these guys time with family and everybody around the organizations, around the teams, get them some time, but also kind of lock in and play a game, like you said, that is for the fans? Yeah,
I mean, guys, when I grew up, the All-Star game was huge, and I agree with because there were the two separate leagues, and that gave you a chance to see them compete each other. And you know what? There was a little bit of pride on the line back then, because there was not so much interleague, with all the interleague stuff, and guys are going from team to team all over the place now. That didn't happen years ago. So the game meant a lot more for me. It meant a lot more to where now it's an exhibition. So now it's don't get anybody hurt. It's like, you look at the NBA All-Star game. Does anybody even play any defense anymore? Nope. I mean, you go to the NFL at the end of the year, and now it's it's like flag football. So, you don't want to get anybody hurt in the game because still you got the second half of the season that, this is when it's really crunch time for me. And so you want those guys to make sure they leave here, participated, had a good time, enjoyed their time off, and yet still had a chance to get a little break in the game.
Terry Collins is our guest, former big league manager, also has a podcast, The Terry Collins Show. You can check it out at TerryCollins_10 over on X. With that, Terry, I want to start talking to you about the second half of the season and a team that you're very familiar with and maybe a key piece right now who's in fine form that you are also very familiar with. That's the Philadelphia Phillies. I think the emergence of Christopher Sanchez from a calendar year ago as a true ace, Cy Young contender. But I didn't know what we were going to see out of Zach Wheeler coming off the thoracic outlet surgery, who you're also very familiar with that with pitchers. Wheeler looks like he's back to the old Wheeler, which to me makes them very, very dangerous. They're 7-1 to win the National League pennant. They're 12-1 here to win the World Series. The Braves have scuffled lately. The Phillies have been really awesome since turning to Don Mattingly. What do you see in Philadelphia this year, and do you think they're capable of knocking off the Dodgers?
Well, of course, when you get into those series, anything can happen because, the one thing the Phillies done, I'll tell you what, Zach Wheeler might be the one guy who's come back from thoracic outlet who has regained his arm speed, and that's an amazing thing. And so I think his stature, but Luzardo's pitched great for them.
Yeah.
I mean, and so you look at, they've got 4 quality starters, and now it all in today's game, as you guys know, it's all about coming out of that bullpen. Because that's where, you look at your starters give you 5 innings, 6 innings. So you've got Nola, Wheeler, Luzardo. It's just four top guys. But it's going to come down to, making sure that offense gets it going too, because they made a couple of changes. For me, I always look at, obviously, Kyle, leading off the game can be dangerous, but I still think Bryce Harper is one of the best players in the game. And if Trey Turner gets it going, they're going to be awfully tough to beat.
Yeah, I want to stay in the East with you here, Terry, because the Marlins, I think, have been one of the fascinating stories of the season so far, 52-45 here at the break. And I think I've been bringing up questions. Hey, are we going to see some of the old Marlins selling pieces away? And it looks like they're going to make a push here. What do you make of this team down the stretch?
Well, I think they've done a great job. I think Clayton's done a really good job of taking over. But, they've got some good young players, some good arms in their rotation and in their bullpen. And you know what? It's nice to be able to walk when you go play the Marlins. Everybody's saying, "Oh, it's the Marlins." So they're kind of sneaking up on guys. Mm-hmm. So for a long time, people took them for granted. Well, you can't anymore because they got a good club. Otto Lopez has really had a great first half. I think they're going to be a team that's going to be tough going down the stretch. But I just think the Braves, when they get Acuna back. When they get some of their pitching back, they're going to be really, really tough because they've won, they know how to win, and that means a lot, guys. When you're looking at late in the season, what it takes that last month, the last August and September, what it takes from a club to be successful, and the Braves did it better than anybody for a long time.
Chatting with former Major League Baseball manager Terry Collins with us, progressive guest line, almost 1,000 career wins, went to the World Series with the Mets back in 2015. And I want to ask you about the American League now, Terry, because you know how it goes with the Yankees. Right now, there's a lot of drama because Judge is out, and they have not looked as great over the last couple weeks. Tampa Bay, while they're on the run they're on, and they're the 1 seed in the AL, we keep doubting them here. But the entire American League, it is wide open right now. Is there a team that jumps out to you that you think is a really good potential winner of that pennant?
I don't see it. I think there's a lot of teams capable. Obviously, the Yankees, you're going to look up, and the one thing about them, I won't be surprised if they don't make a couple of big moves here in the next 2 weeks to shore up until they get Judge and Stanton back. And they're not afraid to do it. Tampa Bay has always been a team. They've done such a great job developing talent in that organization. Their third baseman, Caminero, is he's off the charts right now. So. And again, there's another team. Everybody looks at their low payroll and saying, well, geez, they're not that good. Well, they've always been good because they're not afraid to bring up their young talent and stick them in the lineup. But I just don't. I look throughout the rest of the league, and I don't see that one team that I used to say a couple of years ago. Geez, well, Houston, they're pretty good. I thought Texas Rangers when they. When with Jake coming back in with good health, but they just don't seem they haven't been able to put it together either. So I think it's wide open. I don't tip my hat to anybody in that either any of those divisions over there that you say, hey, this team's going to play in the World Series.
Terry, we really appreciate the time today, the perspective. Would love to continue to chat throughout the baseball season here. And everyone check out the Terry Collins Show, available wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for the time today, Terry. Have a good day, man.
Okay, guys. All right. Be safe.
Awesome stuff. Bye. I thought the perspective on the All-Star game first was great. Mm-hmm. And then he's very familiar with Zach Wheeler and then thoracic outlet. That was the same surgery that upended Matt Harvey's career.
Yep.
Which I mean, it looked like the Mets were going to be on this run for a long time where Harvey and DeGrom and then Syndergaard, they had Wheeler at one point. They had Steven Matz at one point. And the Harvey injury was the beginning of the end there for the Mets.
Yeah, it was a really interesting note from him because we talked about that Cy Young race yesterday and who's kind of left and who do we think actually stands a chance still. And, I think he's still in that conversation.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely still in the conversation. Wheeler, I think, is the play right now on the board. If you're looking for the number, the value play, but Chris Sanchez isn't going to be 6 to long much longer, especially if Mizorowski, this injury lingers with the arm fatigue. Yep. More on that, more on the futures, why I love the Phillies later in the show. But when we return, Spain and France. Is France inevitable to win this World Cup? Alex Crook breaks it down on the other side of a numbers game.
Biggest contest we've ever seen.
Seriously, what's the guarantee?
They're still talking about it.
I think it's time to put the rumors to rest.
Showtime.
$30 million.
$30 million?
$30 million? $30 million?
That's $30 million guaranteed. 3 contests, multiple ways to win, no rate. Entry starting at $1,000. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network. numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
It goes down today in the World Cup. Welcome back into a numbers game. I'm Dustin Sweetelson, filling in for Gil Alexander. That's Kelly Bidlin. You can follow the show on X at VSiN Live, at Dustin Sweetelson, at Kelly Bidlin. Today's as good as it gets. If you're just a sports fan, you want marquee matchups, you want names, you want contrast in styles, you want glory on the line.
Yeah.
France and Spain's going to deliver. There's no doubt we're going to get an epic matchup here because the World Cup on our territory, now this is the most American way you can frame it, has been so entertaining. I can't say if it's been more entertaining than past World Cups, but it's the one I paid the most attention to. And right now we've got France as a minus 150 favorite to qualify, Spain plus $1.20 to advance. To help us break that down, we go out to the progressive guest line. You've heard him on VSiN all World Cup long. Alex Crook, TalkSport chief football correspondent. He joins us now here on A Numbers Game. Appreciate you doing this, Alex, as Alex is coming to us from Manhattan right now, getting a lay of the land there. Before we get into your actual bets on this matchup, semifinals, trip to the finals on the line here, how different are these two teams and the way they approach the same sport?
Well, I think I've described it in a betting column that I wrote as the immovable object against the irresistible force. The immovable object being Spain's near watertight defence, obviously didn't concede at all until that quarter-final against Belgium, and the irresistible force very much France and that formidable attack. Kylian Mbappe, Bradley Barcola, Michael Olise, I think, has had a brilliant tournament. Dembele, Doué, the names just roll off the tongue. So a real contrast of styles. I think Spain will try and dominate possession, but France have got so many weapons to hit them when they do have the ball that I still only see one winner. France from my pick pre-tournament. I've seen nothing to make me desert them at this late stage.
Yeah, and Alex, maybe you just answered it, but I think for a lot of the soccer casuals out there, it's really been the France style. I think we've all gravitated to. It feels like just this unstoppable offense. But that France offense, Spain defense, is it France that's been more impressive so far? Because I feel like I've heard kind of split opinions on that from some of the soccer masterminds out there.
Yeah, the game against Paraguay was a bit more attritional than maybe would have expected. But apart from that, I think there have been some stellar France performances. Spain have just sort of quietly gone about their business. No one's really talked about them to this stage as potential winners. But obviously, if they were to come through this semi-final, they'd have a great chance in the final in New Jersey at the weekend. But yeah, France have been the standout team for me. It reminds me a little bit of Spain in the Euros 2 years ago, where actually we had some epic matches, as you said, but the quality of some of the historic bigger nations, the likes of Brazil, England, Portugal, the Netherlands, maybe even Argentina, who've been reliant on moments of good fortune, they're not quite as good as previous teams, and France are the one for me who have set the standard in this tournament.
Yeah, France just feels kind of inevitable. I know you got a bunch of plays here. We'll get to them here in just a second. I keep framing it this way, but I don't know that much about soccer. I feel like if France fielded a B team, that B team would still be able to win in the World Cup. Do you think they're that deep where how far could a second unit for France go in the World Cup?
I think offensively, they're definitely that deep. Defensively, maybe not so. And the fact that Rabiot is still playing game in, game out in midfield is a surprise to me. But yeah, going forward, they've got all kinds of weapons. And that's the problem for the opposition. If Spain were to try and double up on Kylian Mbappe and mark him out the game, all that will do, I think, is open up spaces for the likes of Olise, Dembele and Barcola to exploit.
Yeah, France is still plus $1.30 to win the World Cup. I might be doing something with that before that match starts later on today. Alex Crook is our guest, TalkSport chief correspondent on football. I almost called it soccer. Football. With what you talked about and the contrast in styles here, what does that lead you to doing betting-wise in the first half of this matchup?
I think it's going to be cagey in the first half. And if you look at France's tournament so far, they tend to come to the boil at half-time when maybe the opposition are a little bit tired, having kept them out in the first half. So my play here would be draw half-time, France to go through in 90 minutes. So France to win the second half.
Okay, I like it. And Alex, we've been doing this for the NBA season, the NFL season, where we kind of get to one of these semifinals, and we've been saying, well, this is the real championship right here. Do you feel that way between France and Spain? Whoever wins this is going to go end up winning the World Cup, or does an England maybe still have something to say about that?
I'd love to say England have something to say about that, but I think our performance level over the course of the tournament, as Thomas Tuchel admitted himself after the Norway game, has maybe not been at the standard that we expect. I think we've been heavily reliant on moments. Those moments particularly have come from Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham, for me, one of the contenders for player of the tournament, alongside the likes of Mbappe and Elise. But yeah, I think the winner will come from that other half of the draw. I think France will progress, and good luck to whoever has to take them on in the final. Having said that, they were the best team in Qatar 4 years ago, and they didn't end up winning the World Cup.
Alex, I want to ask you about that matchup a little bit more here, but to go over your bets just so everyone heard them. France-Spain, first half draw, +$1, +105. France money line, +140. And then let's now go a little bit deeper into Argentina and England, because when I look at Argentina, I thought they looked gassed over the weekend. They looked like a tired group, but at the same point in time, they still have Messi. They still have goal scorers. And my concern for the English is that back end, the defense. And if they become leaky here, opportunities for Argentina to score could make things really difficult. What is the key to victory for Argentina? What's the key for England if either one advances here?
Well, some good news coming out of the England camp overnight. Declan Rice was able to train fully yesterday. Of course, he was forced off at half-time against Norway due to illness, but he expects to be fit for this semi-final, which is a huge boost. Reece James, I think, also believes he's now ready to start 90 minutes. So a big call for Thomas Tuchel. He moved Ezri Konsa from the centre of defence out to right back for that Norway game. I think if I was England manager, I would be playing players in their preferred position. Therefore, Reece James would be starting for me to try and tighten up, as you say, what has been quite a suspect back line to this point. They've given away a lot of chances and conceded plenty of goals, England. But I agree with you on Argentina. Very lucky to get past Cape Verde in what was one of the most dramatic games that we've seen so far in this tournament. And even luckier against Egypt when you look at the controversy over that disallowed Egyptian goal. But they've got a cheat card, haven't they? They've got the GOAT in Lionel Messi. He was able to power them all the way in Qatar. I wouldn't write him off doing that again. But I'm confident from an England perspective. And if England were to beat Argentina, I'm 44 this summer. This would be the biggest result of my lifetime, because if you look at England, even in recent tournaments, they've gone deep into World Cups and European Championships. Whenever we come up against a nation who are seen to be on the same level or better than us, we go out. So if we can get the job done against a powerhouse that is Argentina, against the defending world champions, against Messi, I think this is the biggest result maybe since England won the World Cup in 1966. It will be that huge, because you also factor in the rivalry between the two teams. We know what happened in the Azteca in the hand of God in 1986, France 98. David Beckham gets himself sent off and England lose on penalties. Beckham gets revenge in the group stage 4 years later. This is a proper grudge match, guys. For those who are not aware of the hatred between England and Argentina, this is going to be fierce. This is going to be feisty. But I think England can win it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Dustin, you know what I'm picking up there, too, is Alex with the measured English expectations. You win this, and that's a huge win compared to what we've seen in the United States here. This is where the soccer is, understanding comes in, that's for sure. Alex, I want to ask you about this total quick. A lot of people are going to see 2.5 over. They're getting plus money, plus 130. All the names on these teams, Harry Kane, Lionel Messi, that we're going to talk about. You go and look at just past results, and you would see a lot of games that have gone over this total. How do you feel about this? Is this kind of a trap for people going in looking to bet the over here?
I think it could be a goal fest. Okay. You talked about England defensively. Argentina haven't been great defensively. My prediction is England to win 3-2 in extra time, which will be an absolute epic. I just think both sides, best form of defence here is to go on the attack. And actually, that's what we've seen from Thomas Tuchel this tournament. His predecessor, Gareth Southgate, did a brilliant job to reach 2 European Championship finals, a World Cup semi-final, World Cup quarter-final. But the big complaint from England fans was that he was too pragmatic. I think Thomas Tuchel has decided England's best players are at the top end of the pitch, so let's go and win games by outscoring the opposition. I'm all for it.
Real quickly before we let you go here, Alex, let's say Spain upsets France. Is it wide open in the final? Do you think England and Argentina, either one of them has a chance against Spain, or maybe just England against Spain?
No, I think if Spain can pull off an upset today, then both England and Argentina would fancy their chances. If it is to be France-Argentina again, maybe psychologically Argentina would have the edge, having come through that incredible final for the ages. I was there amongst the Argentinian fans 4 years ago in Qatar. Whatever happens this weekend, I'm not sure that game will ever be beaten. But yeah, if it is Spain in the final, I think that brings England and Argentina right into play in terms of being crowned world champions again.
He's Alex Crook, TalkSport chief football correspondent on X at Alex_Crook. Hey, you've been killing it on VSiN. I've enjoyed your spots all World Cup. Keep it rolling and enjoy New York.
I will. Cheers, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, Have a good one. Hey, there's no shortage of betting opportunities this summer. We were just all over the World Cup. We have plenty of baseball. By the way, Nigel Seeley, he likes Spain. Alex Blowers, he likes the other side tonight with France. Check it out at VSiN.com. You'll see their explanation. Sign up for the VSiN football special for just $175. That's full pro access through the Super Bowl. All you have to do is head to VSiN.com/subscribe now. That's VSIN.com/subscribe.
You make me go loco, baby, yeah, that shit makes me crazy, yeah, that shit makes me crazy. You make me go loco, loco. You make me go loco, baby, yeah, that shit makes me crazy, yeah, that shit makes me crazy, yeah, that shit makes me. You make me go loco, baby, yeah, that shit makes me crazy, yeah, that shit makes me crazy. You make me go loco, loco. You make me go loco, baby, yeah, that shit makes me.
The party never stops at Stadium Swim.
You make me go loco, loco.
Your favorite VSiN shows and personalities are now available to download as podcasts. Catch every hour of our live broadcast with VSiN Best Bets, or find your go-to show and download it directly. Get instant reactions to last night's games, sharp analysis on today's biggest matchups, and everything in between. Whether you're commuting, working out, or just catching up, VSiN lets you take the action with you wherever and whenever you want. Search VSiN on your favorite podcast platform and get in on the action with VSiN, the sports betting network.
Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Dustin Swedelson coming to you from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas. That is Kelly Bidlin. I always feel like this is a 90s wrestling reference. I no longer watch wrestling.
I'm going to Google it again.
Because I advanced. But I think I said this last time. Every time I intro you with me, I want to do the Road Dog, Jesse James. To Billy Gunn. And he always does this when he puts you like,
you know what? I don't have to Google it this time because you're right. You did do it last time. I remember it, and we got like 3 people that tweeted me videos of the two guys.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They were the
as
new,
always. Thank you to everybody who
the
tweets in.
new age outlaws. I've tried to like watch wrestling here and there as an adult, and it's not even like the offensiveness of like the scripted nature, which like that was the issue for me is when they started acknowledging outside of the confines of the sport, like that they were human beings with lives. That was a bit of a bummer. But we've even reached a point now where it's just there's too many nostalgic callbacks, and I find at 41 years old, the best way to trick our generation into caring about things is remind us of our youth over and over again.
Member berries. Yeah, absolutely. Remember that? Remember the South Park episode is fantastic. Remember when? Remember this? Remember
Dude,
this?
that I haven't watched South Park in over 10 years.
Oh, it's good because it's all the thing. Remember Star Wars? Remember
yeah. Okay, that's what that's from. That is what that's from. A lot of comparisons to me and Eric Cartman growing up, believe it or not. I know that would shock you here. But, that is one thing that I unfortunately had. We get tweets. We read tweets. We get tweets.
We get tweets.
See,
Man, you nailed it yesterday. Come on, dude.
And that's where we begin with the first one. Our buddy Bob Geddes, very proud of Dustin for getting the name of the tweet segment right yesterday. Also need to get Dustin on as a regular guest. Segment can be called Dust in Time.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Have to have a bet on something starting within 30 minutes of his segment. Well, here's the problem with that, Bob. Once the World Cup is done, what's going to be within 30 minutes of this segment? Also, I disappear once football season begins.
Tennis bets, bro. You can just battle Gil with tennis bets.
Dude, I respect it. I respect the hustle. I respect the game. I ain't betting on tennis.
Dude, it is. I say this all the time. And this is, you brought it up with the World Cup, right? It is, how much more would you be into soccer, club-wide, nations-wide, if it was played in these time zones, right? And tennis is the same way. I say this to Gil all the time. I'd be betting tennis, watching so much more tennis if it was actively played in North American time zones. But, like, it's just not most of the time.
Mama told me not to lie. It's a shout-out for Lair Bear back there. Mama told me not to lie. If tennis was being played in my front yard, I still wouldn't be watching and betting. I'm sorry. I don't. It does nothing for me. I would rather play tennis. Now that match wouldn't last very long
great game
because of the running back and forth. But I'd rather play it than watch it. Speaking of exercise, Mike Montesano writes in at Bets and Reps, our buddy. He said, if Dustin Swedelson had paid Kelly Bidlin in ones for the bet, I would have guessed only one place he was last night. I wonder where that would have been. I have done that before, where I've walked out with a stack of ones.
Who hasn't?
But I did consider,
like, what do I do with these 47 ones?
I did consider going to a change machine and just taking the 50 that I was going to give you and get a bag of pennies and just dropping it on the table. But like that, I don't. The reason I don't do things like that is the same reason I don't like to attack people. I am so soft and sensitive. I can't handle what the volley back's going to be, like the return favor of coming back. I can't handle it, so I don't do it.
Yeah, no, I would not appreciate that, and not at all. It's worse than getting actual money from you. That you've given me a task.
Yes.
Right. I'm making you work for money. I have to work for it. Yeah. I'd be like, no, keep your pennies. I'm gonna take this from you another time.
You can tweet the show at VSiN Live, at Dustin Swedelson, at Kelly Bidlin. And right now, it's time for Kelly Bidlin to thrive. We are going country clubbing.
Let's go. Hit the club. Dustin brought the booze. No mocktails over here. Dustin's got the whiskey.
Yo, why don't we have those sticks out here? The back has like glow sticks.
I don't know, because we always like to say that the back has this going on, but you're right. Wow.
I got to get loose here. It's Tuesday. I got to feel myself. Come on, man. I get accused by my I get accused by my fiance of having no rhythm. That video is not going to help my case. I can tell you that.
I just thought it was pretty impressive.
Can we run back the Country Club and Open real quick?
Oh, it's great. We always say this is Ben Wilson's family.
It's just a bunch of old dudes tucked in polos. It's a lot of what's the company they all wear? Travis.
Matthews.
Travis Matthews. It's a lot of dry fit polos.
Pause it, guys. I always say this.
Collins?
Imagine being, you're not even a feature B-roll actor. Imagine being one of the background B-roll actors.
Yo, I thought this was AI.
Oh, no, this is real.
These are real humans.
Real human beings. This was shot. Rob Moreno found this video somewhere, pieced it together with the nice graphics
Well, you know what it
package.
is the company who put this together didn't want to have to pay royalties on this going forward, so they got people who won't be alive to get those checks down the road. Because I would love to be able to do a poll. Over under 2.5 people in this shot right now have died. Over under. Over under.
I hope under. I'm answering it.
People are scared to death.
Man,
it's inevitable. It's the only thing we all have in common. Let's joke about it.
There's only 3 major candidates there. All the background ones are safe.
I think I said it. Yeah, but you don't know what happened in today's world.
That's true. That is true.
Look, you got me examining things in the restroom because colon cancer is at all-time high in young people. I'm a hypochondriac. I'm terrified. You don't know, man. All right, with that. The Open is this week. I hate calling it the Open Championship. It feels so anti-American. The Open for us should be the U.S. Open. Let those traders, let those taxers of the tea, let them call it the Open. We'll call it the British Open here. Let's begin.
I think Bill 80 made the call this morning in his newsletter.
Oh, did he?
He was making fun of us because we were having this conversation on Long Shots yesterday, and he said, no, it's British Open here.
Yes, I agree.
Bill 80 made the call.
Our Open is the U.S. Open. Now, this one's going to be played at Royal Birkdale. Can you tell me a little bit about this course?
Yeah, Royal Birkdale going to England, so could be a massive Sunday in England. You know, if they get to the World Cup final in soccer, and then you've got the Open being played with a couple Englishmen near the top of the odds board, could be a pretty big Sunday. Yeah, Royal Birkdale, one of the regulars on the Open Rota, so you get the rotation of courses for the Open Championship. This is one of the regulars, I think, played the second most behind St. Andrews.
Was 2017 the last time we were there?
2017, the last time we were there.
And Spieth won.
Jordan Spieth won. Yep, Jordan Spieth, an exciting comeback. They have had major renovations at this course since then. Really picked up about 5 years ago. We wanted to get this course reset a bit and ready for this Open Championship. Really looking forward to this. There are some slight differences that you're going to get here that compared to a lot of the other courses in the Open rotation. You're going to see these massive sand dunes, which are really awesome, Dustin. It looks beautiful, looks glorious. But you actually have some fairly PGA Tour-esque looking fairways, more so than a lot of the other links courses. These are narrower fairways that are flatter. Usually you have to deal with all these crazy bumps and undulations in the fairways before you can get anywhere. Even around the greens, there's some different obstacles you don't see too much at some of the other links courses. So a little bit of a unique setup. Usually, a lot of the times with links courses, we are talking about wide open fairways, guys grip it and rip it with the driver. Then you got to figure out your problems down the rest of the way. 32 yards, if you're watching at home, average fairway width, that is not very big for a Open Championship.
And firm fairways, unpredictable bounces, you're dealing with wind, you're dealing with the bunkers, as you mentioned. So we'll see all that plays a role here in impacting who we're going to look at. What are the trends that jumped out to you coming into this this event here at Royal Birkdale?
Yeah, there are a few that you're going to hear this week. And look, I'm usually one of those people that shoot down a lot of trends or say, hey, let's always think through these. There's usually an explanation for some of these trends that we get. You're going to hear a lot of these this week. Last 14 championship golfers of the year, Open Championship winners, had previously won a major championship or finished runner-up in a major. You'll see something similar with the Masters. This is one of those, Dustin, where it's just, okay, yeah, good golfers. Good golfers usually tend to do well at tough events. So that's kind of that one. I think this other one is a little bit more, this is sending a little bit more signal, I think, for the Open going forward. Each of the past 5 Open Championship winners played the previous week at the Scottish Open. Shane Lowry, the last winner not to tee it up the week before. Additionally, each of the past 4 winners finished T12 or better at the Scottish Open. Scottish Open is becoming a much bigger tournament on the PGA Tour, DP World Tour. They've done a great job with the Renaissance Club. It's an awesome lead-in event for the British Open. I have a feeling this is a trend that for the most part is going to continue. It is a perfect course for these guys to kind of tee up their links game a little bit before heading over to a true links course. So that one has stuck out to me. I am not maybe following it to the absolute letter of the law here this week, but it is intriguing me. I think we're going to see more of that going forward. And then here's another one. 10 of the past 12 winners had won already this year. The two who hadn't, Zach Johnson, Brian Harmon, each had top 3 finishes to their credit. That's another one. Hey, if you're playing well and playing well this year, you're going to give yourself the best chance to win the Open.
All right, we will get Kelly's thoughts on the golfers that jumped out to him, the ones he's already fired on. Then I have questions about several golfers in the field.
Like it.
$30 million in guaranteed prizes, cash in this football season in Las Vegas with 3 Circa Sports contests. $1,000, all with no rake for the entry. That means every dollar stays in the prize pool. Circa Million, 18 weeks, 128 ways to win. Circa Survivor, pick a winner each week. Last one standing wins. Circa Grandissimo for